Here's how I attach toes. When the pattern says do not fasten off the last one, you leave that attached to the skein of yarn. I happen to have 3 toes on this pattern with a total of 9 single crochets at the top. Now we're going to start working. So you're going to attach the first toe to the second toe. I marked that first stitch. I happen to work 4 single crochets on one side. Then take your next toe, whatever the pattern says, and attach it again. Work around that toe, work around the whole pattern, the whole sequence, which was 9, around that last toe. So now here's where it comes. This might be tricky to show you even on video. Usually patterns will tell you to leave a long tail because you might have a space in between those toes when you finish attaching the toes. I don't do that. I don't sew it closed later or anything. What I do is in between where that space will be, right there where that space will be, I tend to slip stitch it closed. Right, slip stitch that little space that you would have closed. And since I worked 4 on the first side, I'm going to work 5 on the next side. And this is really a tricky thing. This might be only for advanced people. Beginners really might struggle with this. But this way I don't have to sew later. So again, I'm going to find that space that I would normally have and slip stitch it closed. And this is because I'm lazy to sew later. I don't want to sew anything closed or leave a tail. And that way, there's no space. I don't have to sew it later. And that's how I attach toes. Now, after you've done the slip stitch to close it, for the next round, and most patterns, probably no pattern will say it, but this is how I go around. So, I attached 3 toes of 9, but I did the slip stitch. So now what I'm going to do is go for the next round. I'm going to ignore that slip stitch, skip it, and still work 27 total. Work as I would normally on the front side. And see that little slip stitch? I'm going to skip that. Right there. And there, you've got toes connected and no space you have to go through later. No sewing.